Good morning. This is Erika Johnson, aka Perspective by Karma Dior. And I am not in my TP today because I didn't get time to go there. I may go there a little later, but right now I'm out with the dogs. Say hi to Oreo. This is Oreo. Oreo. And that's Missy. Missy. She's eating grass over there. It's Missy. And this is Oreo. And we're just outside enjoying the nice sunshine, right, Oreo? Oreo wanted to be in the video, I see. And I just wanted to sit down and talk because I need to get into the habit of just sitting down and pulling up my phone and talking. How am I feeling today? Today I'm feeling reflective, as always, honestly. And I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about emotions and how I process them. And my dog just threw up. Missy, that's why we don't eat grass, because then you throw up. Does any of your dogs do that? We're gonna go eat breakfast after this, okay? You gotta go outside and potty, okay? Stop being in the grass. So I think I'm gonna start with a little bit about my background. I am currently 27 years old. I live in Syracuse, New York. I've been living out here for like 9 years now. I moved out here to Syracuse to try to get closer to my family. I moved out my house when I was 16 years old. I got taken out from Child Protective Services and put inside of a 30-day group home because I didn't really have the best life growing up. My parents, they tried their best. My mom, she's Puerto Rican. My dad, he's Trinidadian. They both came to the United States at a young age. I believe my dad came out here when he was like 18 or so. And my mom, I believe she came out here when she was like 20 or 21 or something like that. I'm not too sure on the time frame. But they, have a different upbringing than most Americans. And, they had certain expectations and rules, and, they were really strict. And I'm glad that they were strict because a lot of the things that I feel like I know now, even in just the way that I carry myself, everybody always says I look older and I act older than what I really am. And I think that has a lot to do with my parents' structure, the way that they raised me. I feel like I'm rambling, but I won't get too deep into any of like the traumatic stuff. Probably save that for like a breakdown video or something like that. But I just had a really hard time in my parents' house with the way that they structured the household, being very strict but not necessarily as loving or nurturing. And I think that really affects the way that I can sometimes be like codependent in some areas, and then in other areas just be like straight, like cut off, dry, cold. I feel like I can be very like hot and cold, kind of like how my dad was. My dad was the kind of guy that like you would come downstairs one morning and he'd be all nice and happy, and then like you would come downstairs an hour later and he'd just be like straight face, like no emotion, like no hey honey, no love you, no warmth, just straight face. And it would just be very up and down with our relationship. And I feel like sometimes I can kind of be like that, and I really don't like that. And I'm trying my best to really take this year to go even in more depth of how I'm feeling and analyzing it and how I react to things and how I can be better, because I really want to have a family and I really want to have kids. And that's always been a thing for me. And I've gone into quite a couple relationships, and communication has always been something that's been a tough thing for me. And, you know, I'm currently in like a weird spot with my partner. We're kind of like teetering on the line of breaking up or not breaking up. And, you know, I always say all I can really do is like take my part, you know, take accountability for my things that I'm doing wrong, because I don't really want to continuously say he did this, he did that, you know, like it takes two to tango. And I feel like one of the things is definitely like the way that I communicate when I'm in my emotions, especially as a woman. You know, we can kind of be a little bit sensitive. And I don't know, like, this is just, you know, me chatting. I just feel like I want to learn how to be more compassionate without feeling like I'm getting run over. Like, I feel like I can be very accepting, I'm very forgiving, or I try to be. I'm always down to sit down and have a conversation about things. Like, I never was like that before, but I really do try to make sure like people aren't being left in the dark, and if they have something that they want to express, they can come and express it to me. But I also feel as though sometimes when people tell me how they feel, that's negative about me. Not even that. I really feel like it's more like the other way around. I feel like when there's things that I don't like about somebody else, when they're doing something to me that I feel like either they slide me or they disrespected me, it's really hard for me to kind of move still with like that softness. I'm just kind of straightforward and to the point about things, and sometimes I guess that can be a little bit tough because people are, you know, have their own feelings and they get sensitive to things, and it's like an action reaction kind of thing. And I can't really figure out if it's just me and the way that I'm talking to people, or if it's just the people that I continue to attract and surround myself with. You know, I don't know. I think this is just a little chat scrap that I'm just gonna post up, and you guys can listen to me chat, or you guys don't have to listen to me chat. But all I know is that I gotta probably post this because I need to get into the habit of posting cringy shit too, and just getting over it. I really am trying to get into the habit of posting every day, making a video every day, talking, even if I feel like it doesn't make any sense. Like, hopefully it makes sense to somebody out there. The dogs are so cute. I wish they just laying down in the grass. Missy. Oreo. Hi, Stinker. Oreo, get your butt over here right now. Let's go. What? Oreo, let's go. Good girl, Oreo. 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 Good girl. Missy. Come here. Sit. Thank you. What's going on? Listen, we don't gotta bark at everybody that we see. Okay? We don't. Okay? This is not our park. This is a park. Okay? It's not your park. Just gonna take a moment as the sun's beaming on me to say, praise the Lord, praise Jesus Christ. And if you're having a rough day today and you're feeling like you don't really know how you're gonna survive today, just remember, God's not asking us to be perfect. He's just asking us to put one foot in front of the other. And even if you can't put 2 feet in front of one foot in front of the other, you can lay down and go to sleep. But you're here, you know? You're here. You have lungs and you can breathe. Hello. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. No problem. You're all good. No problem. Enjoy the walk. Thank you. Good girl, Missy. We don't gotta bark at everybody, okay? They're nice people. Okay? Good girl. Oreo. Good girl. Come here. Hi, Stinky. Missy, hush your mouth. Sit down. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with these dogs. But I hit up my therapist today as well. My therapist, man, please put a raindrop in the chat, okay? Put a raindrop in the chat down below if you have a therapist that literally is like, gives you worse abandonment problems or abandonment issues than your own parents, because my therapist will literally go like months without talking to me and then hit me up randomly like, hey, do you want a session? Like, tell me you want money without telling me you want money, sir. Like, I love him. Don't get me wrong. He can be helpful. You know, you're a therapist. You know, you got some good insight and all. And I try to have one on dials just in case, you know, life goes crazy and I really need to talk to somebody that's like a professional. But, man, he's like, I really would love to find a new therapist that I can really have like a bond with. And we can talk every freaking week and we can actually get to know each other, you know. That's just the tough part. But I did reach back out to my therapist and ask him if he has a session today, because I've just been feeling like there's a lot of things that are on my mind, like wondering if I'm bipolar, wondering if he can just like kind of do some, like run some tests or something like that, because I've never really done that, at least not at this grown age where I can like really express myself and I'm not shut down. Which is what I used to be, really shut down and not really talk about my feelings. So I'm going to hit him up. I'm also going to go reach out to a couple of other therapists today when I get back inside and see if I can find a therapist that I can really bond with. I just want to be able to break any toxicity in me at all. I don't want to be a toxic person. And in this relationship that I was in, there were times where I was toxic. It was really toxic. He was too, I'm wrong. But it's not about blame game. It's about taking accountability. And it's just been tough, you know? It's been tough being able to like sit down and really take a step back and think about all the things that I wish I would have done differently. And then just looking at myself like, bitch, what the fuck was you thinking? What was you thinking? Like... you weren't thinking, you weren't being mindful, you weren't being aware of your actions and how they really are going to impact people or yourself. Just literally just being reckless, just being in your feelings. Like, God has really taught me so much, even after taking some time to like dial it back and take some time to self-love and be with myself and think about a lot of shit, like like just being around certain people that I love and care about very much, but like seeing a side that maybe I don't like and I see in myself, and I'm just like, damn, that's what other people have to deal with, bro. Like, you ever been through that? You ever like had the world come 360 and like somebody treats you the way that you used to treat somebody else, and like now you're getting treated like that, and you're just like, ew, that's how I look like? Or that's how I was looking like, That's not it. It's not it. So I just don't want to be an emotional baggage of shit. You know, like, I've been through a lot of shit. Sometimes the way that I react can sometimes leave what I'll call like a tart energy, you know, and I don't want that feeling. And sometimes you can't help it either, you know, and that's something I'm also learning too. Like, I can't be in control of everybody's feelings and how they're going to perceive me as. But at the same time, I also want to make sure that I'm being fair and I'm being my most peaceful and godly and loving self as possible, so I'm not impacting people with that type of energy. I promise that my videos will be a little bit more less rambly and more like focused. I'll start writing notes and stuff like that. Come here. I'll start writing notes and stuff like that on how I want to be able to approach the situation when it comes to making videos. But I definitely want to talk to you guys more. I would love to talk more about me leaving at 16, being in foster care, or group homes and foster care. I would love to talk about me being a business owner. I would love to talk about me living in Brooklyn by myself. Stuff like that. I would love to just talk about a bunch of different things so I can kind of get that off my chest and you guys can figure out who Erika Johnson is, what type of person I am, so we can bond and so I can really find my family in here, because I've been talking about making YouTube for so long, like about 10 years now, and I haven't, and I've just been slowly but surely since last year posting on YouTube. I started with my dog content from my business, Karma Dior, and now I'm kind of transitioning into more personal chats because I really feel like I've been through a lot of stuff and I'm young, and I feel like I can really help a lot of young women find their way and be strong within themselves and never give up and change your mentality and break toxic cycles and how to be a good woman or a better woman, because listen, I'm not perfect. I'm not. But I definitely think that I've learned a lot even in being in this 8-year relationship. And maybe you guys can teach you stuff too, you know? Like, I would love to hear you guys' stories. I do have in my bio my email if anybody would ever like to send me some stories that you guys are going through. Maybe any story times about being in foster care or in group homes. I would love to connect that way and read out some stories and, you know, add my little tea and twist to it. So yeah, with that being said, I've been talking for like 18 minutes now, and I hope that somebody out here loved my little chatterina content, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.